Do you struggle with poor contact? When you do finally hit the ball solid, does it fly offline too often? The problem might not be your swing. It could be something much simpler and completely within your control. Your setup. Some people find the setup boring. Boring. If your setup is correct, it sets off the proper chain reaction leading to better strikes, online shots, more fun. The opposite of boring. The best players have a better setup and are more consistent than the worst players. I'm going to show you the simplest way to set up with the correct ball position, a small adjustment that can make a huge difference in your consistency and your accuracy. Plus, I'll share a few powerful training drills that will help you reduce your missed hits where you can start striking the ball solidly on a regular basis. Let's build your swing with the correct foundation. I have a lot of students that come to me confused on where to play the ball in their stance. Some have been taught to play it up near their left heel, narrow stance on shorter shots, wider stance on longer shots, while others have been taught to start with ball center of the stance on a wedge, and move it slightly forward when we have a longer shaft. Which is easiest to do? Depends on your mobility. Jack Nicklaus was taught to play it 1 inch off his left heel, 7-iron stance, maybe the width of shoulders, widen the stance on a long iron. He's one of the best long iron players ever. Widen the stance more on a driver, which I don't have in my hand, of course, but imagine that. Now it's easier to hit up on the ball. That works with a lot of mobility and a wonderful athletic weight shift. It didn't work late in his career. He was doing an exhibition with Lee Trevino and opening a new golf course, and Jack trusted Lee's knowledge and said, Lee, I'm not hitting the ball anywhere near as well as I'd like. What's going on? Lee goes, you've got the ball too far forward. Move it a few inches back. And Jack goes, I've always had the ball forward. And Lee goes, you haven't always been 76. So as your mobility changes, you may have to consider where you play the ball. I've got a 7-iron center here. This would work for somebody with less mobility. That's where I play a wedge. I play wedge center. Then a 7-iron, 1 ball forward. Here's a 1 ball rule. It's easy to do. My mid-iron's 1 ball forward. A driver, 1 ball forward of that, of course, teed up. So 2 different ways. When the ball's well forward on wedges, boy, it's hard to get to that ball for me. I can't do it. I've got to play it further back where I can have a good strike and make good contact and hit a lower flight of wedge that works much better for me. And with both methods, I do agree that the stance is narrow on the shorter shot. So I'm starting with a wedge. Again, for me, or someone even with less mobility, I'm playing the center. If I wanted to hit it lower, I could play even further back on a lower shot. But for a standard shot, I'm playing at center. Narrow stance, weight slightly on my left. I'm going to take a 7-iron, using the 1 ball rule. I'm moving forward on my mid-irons, 5, 6, 7. 1 ball forward, slightly wider stance, maybe shoulder width. I'm not going to hit a driver, I don't have it teed up. But we're moving another ball forward. Wider stance. Now it's easier to bottom out behind the ball without hitting the ground and hit slightly up on it, which gives us a better angle of attack and with good contact, great launch conditions, less spin, and more carry. The best players, all the greats, were meticulous about their setup. Whether they're using a coach, a caddy, video, their own eye, a mirror, they knew how they were set up. Whether they were playing it near their left heel or middle of stance. I have this mid-iron, 7-iron. They would memorize where their hand position was as they looked down at their hands. a caddy, a coach, a camera could also help them. But they're self-reliant. They're going to memorize exactly what that position looked like, so they're not getting too open aiming to the left, too closed aiming to the right, ball too far back, ball too far forward. As we make those changes, that drastically alters ball flight. So when we're trying to hit the ball high, low, and curve it, we can make changes to our setup. But we have to have a basic setup that works best for us, that we can repeat time and time again. It does take practice. So we have a drill that may sound counterintuitive to having a consistent setup. We're going to look at the boundaries of our setup. I'm going to move the ball way back in my stance, ridiculously back. This is a 7-iron. What will this do to ball flight? It's going to go lower. I've got a lot less loft. Where will it start? Most likely further to the right. Which way will it curve? Well, that will depend on where my face is exactly at contact. But I've got this way too far back in my stance. I'm hitting much more down on this. It's going to start to the right. In this case, it's a low hook. This screenshot was when I had the ball way back in my stance, way too far back, and that causes a huge push to the right. I'm hitting much more down than I would normally hit on a 7-iron, which makes sense. So again, exploring boundaries of our setup to see how that alters the flight. Great drill for hand-eye coordination too. So by playing with the outer boundaries of where we could play the ball in our stance, way too far back, yes, it's going to go low, it may start to the right, but that could help us over time learn how to hit a low punch, which obviously we have to on the golf course from time to time to keep it maybe under some limbs. Having it way too far forward, this is a great drill for somebody that has trouble getting pressure to their left side and making a good strike with a little divot afterwards. By playing the ball too far forward, I'm not going to be able to take a divot in the right spot, but it will really teach me to have a good athletic move and weight shift and weight pressure. I'll give it a try. So I have this way forward. Any type of strike I'm okay with here. A really solid strike. So I really had to work on getting pressure left, getting my upper body forward a little bit. Wouldn't be doing this on a driver. So I can still hit down on it. Driver, we'd okay to hang back and hit up on it slightly. Here's a shot of that. One, I had the ball way too far forward. I hit a great shot, went higher than normal. With the ball that forward though, angle of attack shows I hit slightly up on the ball. I would need a perfect line in the fairway to do that. So again, I went way too far forward to actually play golf with, but a wonderful drill to work on exploring the boundaries of our setup. So I stepped outside the academy into a little bit of a fog bank, so I get a chance to hit the ball out of sight. Not often I can do that anymore. So this drill, I'm going to stand too close to the ball, too far from the ball, and then hit a regular shot. Great for hand-eye coordination. Byron Nelson, one of the great champions of the past, won 11 tournaments in a row on the PGA Tour one year, just a few years ago. He thought you couldn't stand too close to the ball. I think that's an exaggeration, but most amateurs are too far from the ball. So for me, too close on this first one. This will be uncomfortable as the one too far away. Too close, I'm staying a little bit taller, hands almost touching left thigh. Reasonable contact. Now I'm going to get too far from the ball. Look a little bit like Mo Norman without Mo Norman's skills. Mo was one of the best ball strikers ever. Had the hands super high, stood a long way away from the ball, put the club behind the ball to start with. And that's not a very good impression of Mo Norman. He was an incredible ball striker. That's, again, way too far away for me to be comfortable. My normal position, I mentioned this earlier, hand on it, width off my left thigh. That's what I'm used to. But exploring our boundaries on our setup can help our balance, our hand-eye coordination, and improve our game. So to improve our poor contact, improve our foundation, we need to set up for success. So we worked today on a couple different methods to do it. I obviously like starting with the ball sort of center on the wedge, moving it slightly forward on longer shots. As we narrow our stance a little bit on the short shots, widen it on the longer shots. Showed a couple cool drills, counterintuitive, really doing some variables on where the ball would be positioned, but that can help our hand-eye coordination, and it gives us more flexibility around the golf course hitting different types of shots. Get some practice in so you're ready for the spring. You can find me online. You can find me at the Reserve, on the north or the south, giving some playing lessons, let you lower scores.